Hey, what's up? This is Duskmos. Today I want to talk about a pedal that has come a long way. It's been on a long journey, and it's been known by a few different names, and that is the Walrus Audio Julianna. This pedal is the latest version and most deluxe version of the Julia chorus and vibrato. It now has stereo, ins and outs, tap tempo. It's got different LFO shapes, including a random for modulation, which sounds super cool. That's my favorite for sure. The audio quality is really great. It looks really great. And of course, the build is impeccable. Walrus really does a great job with all their stuff. So yeah, let's hook it up and see how it sounds. This is Signal Colors. Okay, so the Julianna has 4 knobs, 2 toggle switches, 2 soft latching foot switches, which is good for desktop use, a stereo input, an expression or tap input, and stereo outputs and power. The rate knob controls the speed of the LFO for the modulation of the chorus or vibrato. Depth is the strength, or the depth of the chorus or vibrato. The lag sets the center delay time that the LFO modulates around. The division toggle switch goes into 3 positions that switches between quarter note divisions, triplets, or eighth note divisions. The shape toggle goes from a sine wave to a triangle to a random wave, which is new to this one, and random's super cool. The DCV knob is dry up into chorus, and then vibrato, and then bypass, and of course tap tempo. There are secondary controls as well that you access by holding down the bypass switch when the effect is engaged. So if you hold down bypass and do the rate knob adjustment, you adjust a secondary rate that when you press and hold tap, then the rate will morph into that secondary rate, which is pretty cool. Then if you want to adjust the drift mode, you actually do the same thing. You press and hold bypass while the effect is active, and then you adjust the drift mode by adjusting the depth knob, and that controls the rate adjustment. So it'll actually drift the rate speeds based on the amount of drift you give it. And then you can adjust with toggle switches on the inside of the pedal, taken off the back. There are dip switches that you control the expression input on whether it's a tap tempo, an external tap tempo if you for some reason don't want to use this one, or just a normal expression input. And yeah, that's the Julianna. Okay, so I've got the SH-101 here, pairing it up with the Julianna. It's like a study of blue here, this classic mono synth, I think, will really kind of illustrate how this sounds, because it's just pairing it with a very classic, analog synth sound. So this is what it sounds like clean. Pretty basic, but I think it'll illustrate pretty well because it's just a really kind of a standard analog synth sound. So right now I'm going in mono, coming out stereo, and you'll notice that when I first turn it on, you'll actually kind of hear the stereo width kind of open up. It definitely becomes a little bit more stereo, so kind of a cool feature in and of itself. So right now I'm starting off on the sine wave, so the first position on the toggle switch here. And I'm not really going to worry about the division of the tap tempo because I'm not going to tap in a tempo. I'm just going to use the rate knob to start. But yeah, so this is a clean again. And listen, as soon as I turn on the Julianna, you'll hear the stereo width open up. Yeah. So this is without. There you go. So there's already a little something there. So now I'm going to bring up the rate, depth, and lag. And this is actually before even dialing anything in on the DCV knob. And I think that's because I probably have, let's see, the drift set, let's see. Oh yeah, no. When you're using this pedal with both outputs, the mono labeled output is completely dry, but then the stereo labeled output is actually processed with vibrato, and that gives it a little bit of a stereo chorus effect. But that means that with the DCV knob, you can't go fully dry. You actually, when you're using it in stereo, you will always get a bit of an effect. I mean, you can turn all the knobs down and it's a little bit more subtle, but as we heard, but there's really no way to completely avoid it being effective without bypassing. Alright, I'm going to up the depth all the way. Bring the rate down. Bring the lag up. Actually, I'll turn up the lag all the way. Alright, up the rate. Sounds a little crazy, but it's kind of fun. All right, now I'm going to switch to, well, I'll fade from more of the chorus to more of a vibrato. And again, the clean tone. So immediate difference there. Bring the depth down, rate down, leave the lag up. Alright, so now I'm going to switch the mode from sine to triangle. It's not as obvious, maybe at the slower rates, but we'll switch it, we'll do it live. A little bit of it is there, but it's not huge. Maybe it's more obvious at low rates. Yeah, this is sine. It sounds a little bit more seasick. And then triangles a little bit more, up, down, up, down. Right up all the way. Turn the lag down. Really down. So it's a little more subtle. I'll go ahead and bypass it. Alright, and then now I'm going to go to my favorite mode of the three, which is the random wave. We'll increase the lag here, which is really how you can really hear those sort of pitch peaks and the depth as well. So you can really hear it kind of jump around. All the way. Yeah, you really get that kind of messed up tape sound. Down the rate. And we'll go into the chorus mode. Somewhere between chorus and vibrato. Up the rate some. It really sounds like unstable pitch of an analog oscillator. Alright, I'll lower the lag some. So you can hear it get more stable, I guess. So I'll crank it up again. And you can really see with the LED here. Which it sounds cool even just going in dry. It's still impacting it. And clean. Alright, so now I'm actually just going to program in a little, just a little note pattern. Let's see how it goes. Alright, see how that sounds? Okay, that's fine. But what I'm going to do is just play it, and then I'm going to mess with the controls here and just kind of see where we get. Sine wave. And that actually is a good opportunity to demo this. I was ramping up to the secondary rate. So that's what you said with the bypass mode, but you can really see it play out with the LED here. So I'll play it again and you'll watch the LED and you'll kind of hear it speed up as well. Go back to random. So that's kind of cool if you want to just let it kind of roll with a chorus mode or something that's just a little bit more subtle, a little more gentle. And then, and then kicking in the that mode, and then you'll really hear the pitch bends and all the irregularity of the random come through, which I think is a really cool way to use it. So I'm going to keep demoing that. Yeah, that's cool. You can kind of see really how it ramps up over time. It's not an instant jump, which is smoother for, I guess, maybe slightly more musical purposes, but it's just not quite as immediate. So you have to sort of plan for that and try to trigger it a little early if possible. But yeah, that's the Julianna with the SH-101. I think a pretty good representation of just a classic monosynth sound being put in, stereofied, and Julianna'd. Okay, so now I'm pairing up the Julianna with the Digitone here, and I thought this would be a good counterpoint to the SH-101 in that this is a stereo FM digital synth with definitely a different kind of range. So yeah, we'll try it out. As always, I always kind of start with this classic initial sound. Kind of the init patch on the Digitone, and we'll go ahead and bring in the Julianna. It's in chorus mode. We'll go up to vibrato. So now kind of in a hybrid chorus vibrato angle. Knob angle, that is. Okay, that was the random mode. I'm going to go back up to sine. Bring the rate down. Depth down as well. All right, now bring it more into just like kind of slightly left of the chorus mode. All right, I'm going to go into the triangle mode. Up the rate a little bit. That wasn't so great, but you know, it's cool. Okay, switch modes here. We're going to do clean. I'm going to go back up to sine. This one is an 8-bit sort of crunchy sound. Not really crunchy. Crispy? Fuzzy? Alright, and with the Julianna. That sounds cool. It sounds like it filtered it a little bit. We'll go to clean again. Take the rate down. Up the rate. Going to full vibrato. Up the depth. All the way. up all the way. Sounds a little crazy. Back off the depth, I'm going to go into the triangle mode. Alright, and now random pattern wave. I'm going to up the depth, slow the rate down. Go to chorus mode. You can really hear the stereo width. Alright, and what is dry but seems to not be? Because if I bypass, it does not sound the same as this. But I like it. Alright, and then the third sound. That was clean. I think I was clipping a little bit there. Turn it back up because I'm not going to stay in that range. Yeah, I just love the way the random wave sounds on this. Some of that Boards of Canada action. Alright, change the depth, up the rate, bring the lag down, and go into chorus mode. Alright, and triangle. Okay, and the fourth sound is more of a bassy tone. really just straight up bass. Huh. It's more interesting than I thought. All right, we'll kick on the Julianna. Go to vibrato mode. Up the depth. Go to random. Doesn't seem to pick out as much on the bass notes. Up the lag. Which I suppose you could use to your advantage if you want to maybe not, have bass be included. What gets modulated, maybe that kind of stays a little bit more constant. I don't know, it's not a bad thing. I guess as long as you're not a bass player. All right, I'll try to get a little pattern going just so I can do some real-time knob manipulation again. So let's just see what we can do. Oh my god, so cheesy. So with the Julianna, it's really easy to get classic chorus and vibrato sounds, and really everything in between. The addition of the stereo ins and outs, the random modulation waveform, and the ramping option are all really great additions to this version. And ramping up or down to the secondary LFO rate when you hold the tap tempo adds some nice variety, but still has predictable results, which is really cool as long as you can get a hang of the timing. The Julianna adds some dimensional stereo width to mono sources, which is a handy feature for sure. And of course it has good sound quality and it handles line levels well. And the build is great. The texture of the finish is actually really cool. I love the debossed Walrus audio logo head there. And the spun finish on the aluminum knobs, and even the art is great and keeps in line with the Julia Sea Monster theme. One thing I don't like is in stereo configurations, there's no completely dry signal unless you bypass the effect entirely, which you can't do without an obvious change to the audio, which isn't ideal, but it sounds pretty cool anyway. Overall, it's a pretty good value for a pretty flexible pedal with lots of modulation options, and I definitely think it's worth considering.